Hello, everyone. Hours, not days, not weeks. Your phone might ring, a message might arrive, someone might show up, an opportunity might present itself, a decision might force itself into existence. Something has been building pressure in the background of your life, and that pressure is about to rupture into your immediate reality within hours, possibly before you finish reading this. Um, I don't throw around urgent casually. The energy I'm reading around you right now is coiled spring compressed to maximum tension, milliseconds from releasing. And when springs release after prolonged compression, the velocity is shocking. What seems stable one moment becomes kinetic the next. You're in that millisecond between compression and release. The specific trigger could vary wildly depending on your circumstances, but the underlying pattern is consistent. Something that's been gestating out of your direct awareness is about to birth itself into your conscious reality. And birth is never gentle, it's rupture, emergence, irreversible transition from one state to another. Um, Here's what I'm picking up on as possibilities: communication incoming. Someone who's been silent might break that silence explosively, not with casual, hey, how are you energy, with information that changes things. Confession, apology, accusation, declaration, demand, whatever the content, it carries weight that will require response, and that response could set trajectory for months. If your gut just whispered a name, that's probably who. Um, Opportunity appearing. Something you've been working toward or hoping for might materialize with almost zero warning. Job offer, financial breakthrough, connection that opens doors. Except it might come with tight deadline, we need answer by end of day type pressure. And tight deadlines force decisions before you feel ready, which is sometimes exactly what's needed to bypass your overthinking. Confrontation erupting, tension that's been simmering beneath surface of relationship, romantic, professional, familial might boil over. Not because anyone planned it, but because pressure finally exceeded container's capacity to hold it. Um, and while confrontation sounds negative, it's often necessary. Festering wounds don't heal without being opened, cleaned, addressed. So if conflict emerges in next hours, it might be surgery, not attack. Painful but ultimately healing. Truth revealing itself, information you didn't have access to might suddenly become available, either through someone telling you, or through your own discovery, or through circumstances aligning in ways that make hidden things visible. Um, and truth, especially truth that's been concealed, lands hard even when it's not inherently bad news. Just the fact of not knowing something you now know changes your entire perception of situations, people, choices. Are you prepared for perspective shift that radical? Internal breakthrough. Not everything imminent is external. Some of you might experience sudden internal clarity that feels like it arrived from nowhere but was actually building beneath conscious awareness for weeks. Realization about what you actually want, recognition of pattern you've been repeating, understanding of why something hasn't been working, decision crystallizing after months of fog. And internal breakthroughs often trigger immediate external action because once you see clearly, Continuing to act on old perception becomes impossible. Which of these feels most probable for your situation? Now, let's address the few hours specificity, because I know it sounds dramatic or manipulative, but here's what I'm actually sensing. Convergence of multiple timelines that have been running parallel are about to intersect. Think of it like traffic approaching intersection. Multiple cars traveling different routes, completely unaware of each other, all arriving at same crossroads simultaneously. That's your next several hours, various elements of your life that seemed disconnected converging into single focal point. And convergence creates intensity. Multiple energies meeting in concentrated space and time generates force that can feel overwhelming, even when the individual components weren't particularly intense on their own. So what's about to happen might not be singular dramatic event. It could be cluster of smaller events happening in rapid succession, each one amplifying the others, creating cumulative impact that's greater than sum of parts. Prepare for acceleration, not just isolated incident. Here's what you can do in these remaining hours before whatever unfolds. Is less than #0. 5# is greater than. Ground yourself immediately. Whatever's coming will be easier to navigate from centered place. Breathing exercises, physical movement, anything that brings you into your body and present moment rather than spiraling in anticipation. Panic before the event wastes energy you'll need during the event. Clear your schedule if possible. If you have flexibility to cancel non-essential commitments for rest of today, consider it. Not because something definitely catastrophic is coming, but because whatever unfolds might require your full attention and emotional bandwidth. Better to have space you don't need than need space you don't have. Identify your support system. Who can you call if you need processing help? Who won't judge or panic but will hold space for whatever you're experiencing? Have that person's number easily accessible. You might not need them, but if you do, scrambling to figure out who to reach out to while already overwhelmed is exponentially harder. Check your impulse control. Whatever happens, your first reaction might not be your wisest response. Commit now to pause before reacting, even if that pause is just 3 deep breaths. Space between stimulus and response is where your power lives. Release attachment to specific outcomes. The more rigidly you're expecting something particular, the harder it'll be to adapt when reality deviates. Hold intentions loosely. Stay flexible. Whatever's coming might be better than you hoped or different than you imagined or harder than you wanted. All you can control is your response, not the circumstance itself. What's your default stress response? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Knowing helps you catch yourself when it activates. Something else crucial, not everyone reading this will experience the intense hours I'm describing. Energy reads are probabilities, not guarantees. And collective messages hit different people differently depending on where they are in their individual cycles. So if nothing dramatic unfolds for you in next hours, that's not invalidation of the reading. It just means this particular energy spike is hitting elsewhere in the collective while your life remains steady. But for those of you who felt visceral reaction reading the title, stomach drop, heart rate increase, immediate knowing of, yes, this is for me, trust that your system recognized resonance before your mind could articulate it. And that recognition is your preparation signal. Let me address fear directly because urgency triggers it. Fear itself is an enemy, it's information. It tells you something matters, stakes are real, outcome is uncertain. All of those can be true without the situation being catastrophic. High stakes doesn't automatically mean negative outcome. It just means the outcome, whatever it is, will be significant. Could be breakthrough as easily as breakdown. Could be beginning as easily as ending. Could be liberation as easily as loss. Your fear is valid. Honor it. But don't let it write the story before events actually unfold. Stay present, stay curious, stay open to possibility that what's coming might be exactly what you've needed, even if it's not what you've wanted. I'm also sensing that some of you have been waiting for permission or a sign to do something you've been contemplating. And this reading landing in front of you right now might be that sign. Not the specific content necessarily, but the fact that you're being reminded that life moves fast, opportunities close, moments pass, and hesitation can cost you things you'll regret losing. So if there's something you've been about to do, text to send, application to submit, conversation to initiate, boundary to set, consider this your cosmic nudge. Do it now, in these hours, before whatever else unfolds either distracts you or makes it more complicated. What would you regret not doing if tonight ended dramatically different than it began? Here's another layer. Sometimes urgent messages find us not because our external reality is about to explode, but because our internal resistance is about to break. Meaning you've been holding something at bay, emotion, decision, acknowledgement, action, and that dam is cracking. Next hours might be when you finally let yourself feel what you've been avoiding, know what you've been denying, choose what you've been postponing. Internal ruptures feel just as urgent as external ones. Sometimes more so because you can't escape yourself the way you might escape external situations. If this is internal urgency you're sensing, the preparation is emotional. Create safe space, have tissues ready, cancel plans if you need privacy, give yourself permission to fall apart if that's what's coming. Falling apart is often prerequisite to coming back together in healthier configuration. One more critical piece. After the urgent thing happens, whatever it is, give yourself recovery time. Even if the thing itself is positive, intensity is depleting. Don't immediately analyze it to death. Don't force immediate decisions about what it means or what comes next. Let initial impact settle before interpreting it. First 24 hours after intense events are for processing, not concluding. Feelings that seem overwhelming immediately post-event often moderate once nervous system regulates. So whatever happens in these next hours, let it happen. Respond as best you can in the moment. Then give yourself grace to be messy, uncertain, overwhelmed in the aftermath. You don't have to have it all figured out by tomorrow. You just have to get through today. And you will, because you always have. Every previous impossible thing you faced, you survived it. You're here now reading this, which means you've handled everything life has thrown at you so far with 100% success rate. Whatever comes next, that track record holds. You're equipped, you're resilient, you're capable. Even if you don't feel like it right now. Final instruction: after reading this, put your phone down, breathe, center, then do one grounding thing: wash your face, drink water, step outside, pet your animal, call someone you love. Anchor yourself in simple, real, present things before the whirlwind potentially begins. Because whether the urgent thing is external event, internal breakthrough, or combination of both, you want to meet it from as grounded a place as possible.